Good morning, everybody. I am Sandra Lee, Human Design Specialist, Biofield Tuning Practitioner, and creator of the Inner Gem Shine card deck kit. Today, I have a really fun guest for this Tuning Up for Thriving conversation. This is my friend, Danielle Kane, and she is one of my friends in the Spirit Calling group. Guys, if you haven't checked out Spirit Calling, I encourage you to go over there. It is a really fun place. So Danielle does a type of healing work that I had never heard of before. I've been doing energetic healing work for like 30 years, and to hear about something completely new to me is always kind of fun. So she's going to tell us a little bit about that. And then Danielle also does something called the Conscious Broadcast, where she introduces people, healing type people, to the world. She loves interviewing people. And she and I did that a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's Danielle's turn to get to be the person who is interviewed. So welcome, Danielle.
Thank you, Sandra. I love it. I love that we get to reconnect again and talk about what we do, because that's what brings us the passion to help others and the connection that I think we're both looking for. So I'm grateful and honored to be on your channel this time.
So tell us a little bit about you and how you got into healing.
Yes. Okay. So I would say that my healing journey started probably around the time that I moved in with my fiance, I guess, or I don't think we were engaged at the time, but I was always just eating what my parents fed me. I was carrying on those habits. And when we first started moving in together, that was really the first step of like opening up my mind to a better way of healing as far as nutrition. And I look back at I thought Cheez-Its were like not so bad. And so, but that was really it. I saw Food Inc. I don't know if you ever watched that documentary, but that was a huge shift for me because I kind of did whatever my parents did and they weren't really healthy. And as soon as I started cleaning up my act, I started to feel a lot better. And then I started doing some functional training, which I had never done before. Being an athlete, I just, I hated going to the gym really because I was like, all right, I guess I'll run on the treadmill for 45 minutes and then do some bicep curls. I didn't know what I was doing. I don't think most people do. People just kind of go thinking and doing things that they're comfortable with. So it was really about the physical aspects of healing that started for me first. And I really wasn't even aware of it. And then leaving corporate America, even leaving that whole mindset I thought that was my only world. I thought that if I didn't succeed in corporate America, I was doomed. And so I got let go in 2010, just after I got married, and my husband and I started our fitness business. And so those were huge shifts for me in realizing what my reality was versus the false reality I thought I was living in. And so then I spent 10 years in the fitness industry and things got really bad at one point, right before the pandemic. We opened up another gym. I was pregnant with my last child and we were struggling to make ends meet. And my sister, believe it or not, was telling me, you should really check out crystal bowl healing. And I'm like, what is that? I don't know what that is. She's like, do a sound healing. I'm like, oh, I just wasn't whatever, And then she just kept supporting me. And she kept telling me she does the spiritual work. I had no idea really what that meant. And then she's like, all right, just check out Dolores Cannon. And I'm like, all right, fine. I'll check her out. And so I went on the rabbit hole of Dolores Cannon, who's a quantum healing hypnosis practitioner. And as soon as I started watching her videos, I started feeling like, wait a minute, I want to know more. And I feel like this makes sense to me. It's like the first time something that I was listening to was drawing me further into trying to understand why I was feeling the way that I was feeling stuck, trapped, kind of like this victim and that the world, like there was, what am I going to do? Like I was at like a crossroads of like, where do I go now? Because I feel like I'm drowning. And so I ended up getting a session with a practitioner in Princeton, New Jersey, and not far from about 45 minutes from where I live. And it changed my life. And I was able to connect in that session with spirit, which I didn't know that was something that you could do. Most of the time it's past life regression, which you go into a past life, parallel life, however you want to view it. And we can talk further about that. But I did. And then after making that connection, we talked to my higher self. And it was really interesting because I was able to really intuitively feel that other half of me, that other higher consciousness that I've never tapped in before. And after listening to the video, or to my audio, it's like you're downloaded with the information and your guidance that you already have. And I was slowly able to let go. I mean, the biggest struggle for me was I was holding on so tightly to this idea that I had this control that I really didn't. So once I let go and allowed the world to open up, my world shifted completely. Now, I'm not going to say it was pretty. You had to go through a lot of the choices that you made to get to the other side, but I'm alive and I'm well, and I am definitely in a different financial position, which was really the struggle for me. So that's really the gist of how I became a practitioner, because I was like, I think I'm supposed to do this. And it was during the pandemic that I signed up to become a practitioner and go through the courses. And that was the first part of my journey. And it still continues till this day.
So for those of you listening, Danielle is talking about this journey from going from normal, I'm going to call it, to all of the things that it takes to get to this more open, aware, I'm going to say happier, more tapped in place, more conscious and aware place. Mm-hmm. That is the journey of so many people to get into doing healing work.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about this quantum healing method that you do.
Yes. So there's tons of different, I guess, hypnosis methods that you could do. But this one, of course, out of all the ones that I chose, goes into why it's called quantum is you can literally go anywhere in your session. So you go basically wherever the soul is needed to go in this present time. So if Sandra and I did a session tomorrow, her higher self is going to show her exactly what she needs to see now. And so you basically, when we sit and we chat for quite a bit of time. So I get an idea of who are the characters in that person's life. What has defined this person? What has happened in this person's life to be where they are today? So we literally talk for quite some time in that practice, like kind of like a little interview. And then once I gather all that information, it's really quite simple. I mean, we're in hypnosis pretty much in and out the majority of our day. So for example, when we're driving, and you miss your exit, I think everyone's at least once in their lifetime missed their exit. You're in a state of alpha, right? That is alpha. So you're in and out, even if like someone's talking to you and you don't hear them calling your name. So it's very simple to get into the state of hypnosis. I know some people might be like, ooh, someone's going to put me under. And I'm like, you kind of go in it all the time. But we go into theta, which we all do this each night and each morning that we get up. But it's about a 2-minute window. So what we do in hypnosis, we expand that 2 minutes to about max 2 hours to explore that state of being. And really, it's all this stored information that you have anyway before you go to delta, which is asleep. So in that space, we go through our different types of inductions to get the person to be calm and really to be able to use the creative side of the brain, the right side of the brain versus the logical side. So they could just be relaxed and allow, them to have the experience. Because that's really, I find, most people, if they're not a somnambulist, and I'll explain the two differences there. if someone comes in really anxious and really nervous, which I was one of them, it takes a while for the body to relax and rest and to open your mind. But as we're going and doing inductions, those cues are there to almost like a guided meditation in a way. But once you get under, that's where the magic happens. And the practitioner has to do a really good job of keeping the questions going. Then the scripts go out the window, Yes.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Okay? This that you're talking about is like the crux of what's happening is happening.
Yeah.
What's the difference that it's going to make in the person's life?
Well, once the past life, so this is my opinion too, and I guess a lot of the practice, once we go into the experience, you can have like literally sometimes it's just like your day-to-day type of stuff. It might not be I'm the queen of some faraway land, or sometimes it just might be like you're literally in a farm and you see a room and there are my parents. It's not always some dramatic event. So, but that is there for some reason. So what we do is after we're done viewing the life that we've seen and or the circumstance, like for me, I connected with a spirit who was like a download, and I was crying, and it was amazing. It was like this interaction that I couldn't really explain. Then we go to the higher self and we get permission to ask questions that you come in that you want answered. First, though, I'll ask, why did you show, Danielle that life with her friend who came through today? Why was that relevant? And then we'll ask, and then the higher self will speak. Well, because she needed to understand that she was going in the wrong direction in her life, and that he was wanting to show her there's a new direction that she needs to take with her children. And because Jeff was in her childhood, he wanted to bring out the child in her today. And so that's where the messages happen. So the past life is great because we get to understand where we're going. But then when we go to the higher self, that's where it makes it relevant for now in this lifetime. And then the healing comes into place. What do they need to do? All the questions that they have. Why am I here? What's my purpose? And for me, the strongest voice is your own. Because you can have healers say, take this, take that, take this, take that, right? And you can get amazing healing. But there's something about the knowing of your connection with the creator from yourself that is by far, for me personally, been the strongest shift that I've ever had in all the healing modalities that I've done. The healing modalities that I've done are great. They've progressed me in my progress, but it wasn't as big of a shift for me in my life. Like this was a complete, like I was a type A to like, I'm not a type B, but I was like a totally different person, like victim to like I'm in control of my, like not control, but I'm now rising above all that there was in my story. So I feel that it takes time. Some people have to really listen to their audio. I always say, listen to the past life, but listen to the higher self, because you will receive information and downloads of what you need to do and the work that you need to do afterwards. It'll tell it's almost sometimes you don't have to do any work. It's just the vibration and it shifts. Like I can't tell you why all of a sudden I was no longer that same person, but it's like everything that I thought was like my reality. I was like, oh my gosh, it was all a lie. It was like, it's like someone ripped off the veil in that session. And so the session itself just expanded my mind. So that's what I really want for everybody. I feel like everybody has the right to really see and really tap into. It's almost like you're tapping into your Akashic records of your life. Or like we're all a tree, right? And we have little branches and we are the tree, but we're only living part of the twig right now. And so when you explore hypnosis, you're able to tap into other twigs, but ultimately you're still that big tree, right? And so if I can provide that connection for someone to understand, hey, that twig over there is diseased and it's affecting me in this life. Let's figure out why. And we'll heal that. Does that help? Did I answer your question?
So from a practical perspective,
yes.
It's like what I hear you saying is that it's going to help me address the areas where I have questions or I'm not clear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it will help me be more in alignment with what's right for me, the right direction for me, the right activities, the right purpose. everything just helps me be more on track
Mm-hmm.
with the actions that I'm taking, going the direction that I want to go.
Sure, absolutely. And then I didn't get the chance to tell you about a somnambulist though. So somnambulist is someone who I literally only have to say a few things and they're already going into rapid eye movement and they're in deeply, quickly. And since we're talking about spirit calling, I had the opportunity to regress Lisa. And she didn't go in there really for like feeling stuck and needing answers, but she wanted to channel her guides and be able to show we needed information. So there's also that there's information that is needed to be available to humanity now. And that's why this work is so important. And I'm finding I'm coming across more and more people that are providing not only necessary for humanity, but they're providing deeper level of information that we have not yet uncovered yet through these sessions. And that's where I find the most joyous, because now I get to time travel and I get to learn more of what we're not taught. For me, it's all about truth. That was one of my purposes in one of my sessions, is to find out the truth, either the truth of my reality. But this for me has really just changed things, because like you've said before, there was a lot going on in our lives outside ourselves that were causing a lot of fear and a lot of us to be scared and not wanting to speak our truth. And so when I started tapping into this work, I started to connect with more like-minded individuals where I could share, hey, I have experienced this, and they could share their healing modality, just like in spirit calling. And it opened up a whole new world of people that were opened than the world that I was in before, where it was very closed off. So I find that we're finding ourselves along the way. All of us light workers, healers, whatever you resonate with, we are coming to this place to do this. This is like a mass awakening. And this was just my modality that I jumped into that helped see things from a different perspective.
Thank you. That sounds wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
So now let's talk a little bit about the conscious broadcast.
Yes.
I know it's a big passion for you.
Yes. Yeah. So, I started being the quantum healing hypnosis. I started doing that along the other things that I do, because I'm pretty busy with I homeschool my children, and, I was trying to get some sessions in. I still run the gym, but I had this passion to talk with other people. And so I was getting on Telegram, that's where I started getting into some more conversations, where there would be like little spiritual groups. And then I ended up finding spirit calling. But what was happening was I would have a lot of friends that wanted to have like conversations. Like they really wanted to talk about New Earth or where we were going. And I really was kind of a quiet, like just checking in on chats. I wasn't really participating, because I'm like, what do I really have to offer? I feel like I just started doing these healing modalities. I didn't know if I could really be someone that could share. So we created this little group called like New Earth Leaders, and we were having conversations after conversations. And one of my friends in the group was like, hey, I've been doing interviews with people about these topics for like 2-3 years. And he's like, I'm kind of like over it, but I think that, we still there?
Yep.
He's like, I think that if you want to join me in doing these interviews, that would be great. And so I was kind of like, yeah, I was a little nervous, but I'm like, I do want to have these conversations. And then I got really sick, and I swear it was like my throat chakra was like shut off. And I kept saying, no, you are not going to stop me from doing this. I have to get better. And when I got through my cold, because I got like this laryngitis thing, I don't even know, but I wasn't ready yet. But as soon as I started getting better, I powered through. I got a download that I'm supposed to start this. I call it like a broadcast, because I feel that there was more to it than just interviewing. And it was called The Conscious Broadcast. And I knew exactly the vision it was going to be. And I never really had that before. So I just created all the material. And my friend who didn't want to do interviews anymore was basically the production side. And then I just put it out there on Facebook, literally, and my other channels, and who wants to have conversations. And that I don't want to follow the news anymore. I don't want to follow the propaganda and the fear. I want to bring in real life stories of people going through, their challenges, but what they are doing to overcome all that they've experienced in their life. Because this healing is constant. It's not a one time you're done. It is a journey for sure. And so I've literally had no problem finding people to talk to, which is great. And some amazing episodes such as yours, Sandra. And it's just getting people to connect with other people. I think that's really what my calling is. And with the brief time that we had with my human design, and we have to get back on that too. I feel like I am in alignment, that this is something that I'm supposed to be doing. And I really do feel like it's a talent to be able to talk to people and to open up and to be vulnerable and to hold space for them. So that's really how the conscious broadcast started. And it led to 5D all day, which we're going to be meeting on Friday on Spirit Calling, which is something I really love, just having like fluid conversations where it's just more than one person, like it could be 5, 6, however many people come in and out, just having conversations.
Healing doesn't necessarily look like doing energy work or doing healing work.
Yeah.
Interviewing people, bringing people out and helping them be public is healing.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. And I want to say too, like all these healing modalities, I mean, I've done a ton, which we're going to talk about on Friday. But even when we spoke about the human design, it's very validating to know some of the things that you intuitively, especially if you're a generator. And I always had gut feelings. That was another thing when I came to know things that were not good for me. I would ignore I didn't ignore my gut feeling, but I just didn't know it was real. Like that's how I respond to things. And my intuitive higher self speaking with me. And I remember getting that feeling when we were going to launch that second business. And I knew it was not going to be a good experience. I just knew it. I couldn't tell you how. I didn't have any evidence, but my gut was like, no. And yeah, that was the hardest journey that we went down in my entire life. And yeah, I think sometimes you just have to go through it. And boy, does it make you stronger.
So is there a last message that you want people to take away from listening to?
So what I would say is that this is a really important time. Things are shifting really quickly. And if you're in a situation where you feel like, what should I do? I can't continue the path that I'm going. And you're feeling like you're stuck or you're feeling just low. This is the opportunity to seek your new tribe. There's tons of people out there that have gone through this experience, and there's many modalities to do it. One, I would highly recommend if you can get a hypnosis session, quantum healing hypnosis. There's SCHH, which is Soul Center Healing Hypnosis, which you can do remotely as well. That's a great way that I think everyone deserves like one in their life. That I would highly recommend finding a practitioner and/or working with me at some point down the road. And someone like Sandra, the amazing things that she can do, working with biofield tuning and human design. They all go hand in hand. It's almost like a different chapter in your story. And maybe you're on that chapter today, but I highly recommend that you seek what is in alignment with you. And so that's the first thing. That's the first step, is doing the uncomfortable to get to find that higher self, the higher version of you, to live the life that you want.
That sounds wonderful, Danielle. So how can people connect with you if they're interested in what you offer?
Yes, I would say the best way to reach me is at theconsciousbroadcast@gmail.com. That way, if you want to book a session, I can connect with you there. And also, if you want to get on the podcast and share your story, I'd love to meet with you and talk with you to share really what's happening here in the world. So that's the easiest way. But I am on social media. I'm on Facebook under my personal name, as well as Evo Fit Now, which is my fitness business. And I'm also on Telegram and things like that. But that's the easiest method right now, as I'm continuing to launch myself.
That information will be attached to the video as well. So you can connect with Danielle. thank you so much for being here today. You shared lots of wonderful information.
Thank you, Sandra. I love meeting with you. You're awesome.
All right. Thank you, everybody. This has been a Tuning Up to Thrive conversation, and there will be more in a couple of days.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. See you later.
Turn up the flame, feeding your magic.